Hello friends, I hope you are doing well. In today's video, we are going to learn how to render a video using the sequencer in Unreal Engine. These will be very easy and simple steps. So without further delay, let's get started with today's class. First, I will add a camera to the scene which we will use to render our video. To do this, I will click here, go to the cinematics and then click on cinematic camera actor. You will see that the camera has now been added to the scene. Next, I want to set the camera's view to match the current view I am in. To do that, I will select the camera and right click, but first rename the camera by selecting it and pressing F2. After renaming the camera, I will select it, right click and choose Snap Object to View. You will notice that the camera's view is now aligned with my current viewport. If you would like to see the main view through the camera, you can switch from the perspective view by clicking on perspective and selecting the camera. Now you will be seeing everything through the camera's lens. From here, you can also adjust the camera's settings. With the camera selected, you can go into its properties and set the aspect ratio to 16:9 DSLR. You will see the view update accordingly. Now let's go ahead and add the sequencer. I will click here and select add label sequence. This will prompt us to choose a location to save the sequence. I will right click here, create a new folder and then save the sequence with a name. You will see that the sequencer is now open at the bottom. Next, I will take the camera we created and click and drag it into the sequencer. Then I will adjust the length of the sequence to match the duration I want for the video. This will be done by moving the endpoint to the desired time. You will notice that the timeline is displayed in seconds. If it is showing in frames for you, simply click here and change it to the seconds. I want my video to be 10 seconds long, so I will set the endpoint at 10 seconds and extend the camera cut to the full 10 seconds. Now I will position my camera at the exact spot where I want the video to start and set the camera's view accordingly. Then I will go into the transform in the sequencer and add a keyframe. So now we have a keyframe at the starting point. Next, move the camera to end location. But first I will move the timeline bar to the end point of the video. After that, I will move the camera to the final position where I want it to end. And then I will add another keyframe at this endpoint. Now we have keyframes set at both the start and end point. However, if you play it now, you will notice that the camera movement starts off slow, speeds up in the middle, and then slows down again at the end. If you want the camera movement speed to remain constant, we can select both keyframes, right click and set them to linear. This will ensure that the camera moves at the uniform speed throughout. Now we will record and render the camera movement we have set up. To do this, I will go to the window menu, then navigate to cinematics and click on movie render queue. If you don't see the movie render queue or have not enabled its plugin, you will need to do that first. To enable it, go to the edit, then plugins and search for movie render queue. Once you find it, make sure it's enabled. If it's not, just check the box and enable it, and then the system will prompt you to restart the software. After restarting, the movie render queue will be available. Now I will go back click on window and select movie render queue again. Then I will click on the plus icon to add the sequence we want to render. I will select the sequence by its name, and once it's added, I will go into the settings. In the settings, we can specify the output location where we want to save the rendered file and give it a proper file name. It's important to uncheck the override existing output option. This is because, especially for beginners, if you don't carefully name your file, the newly rendered frame might have the same name as the previous ones, causing them to overwrite the earlier renders. This can result in only the last frame being saved and all your time being wasted. So to avoid this, make sure to uncheck that option. After that, you can also change the output resolution if you would like, but I will keep it at the default value. Next, if you want, you can change the frame rate. I am going to set the frame rate to 30. Now, let's add anti-aliasing. For anti-aliasing, I will set the value to 1 and 5, and I will enable the override anti-aliasing option. Then for format, you can keep it as .jpeg if you prefer and click accept, or you can remove it and select PNG instead. There are other format options as well, but I will go ahead and choose PNG. After that, I will click accept to confirm the settings. Finally, I will click on render local, and you will see that the sequencer has started rendering. You can now see that the sequences has been rendered in the path we provided. You can take these images and use them in any video editing software to generate a video. I hope everything I explained in today's class was clear and helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. I will see you in the next class. Until then, goodbye and take care.